student.
Good.
Okay, we've read a few books before by Jan Brett. You remember Jan Brett, right? Okay, today we're going to read The Mitten. But I went and I looked. Because remember in Heath's books, the Mary Pope Osborne books, it always tells you where she went and how she got the idea for her stories.
Yeah.
Right? So Jan Brett, it says, she visited many different countries where she researches the architecture and costumes that appear in her work. From cave paintings to Norwegian signs to Japanese gardens.
Okay.
Remember the Japanese gardens we read about?
Yeah.
I study the traditions in many countries I visit and use them as a starting point for my children's books. So here's a picture of Jan Brett. There she is in Africa. This one was neat because you know where she is in this picture?
Yeah.
Nunavut, Canada. So maybe, do you remember the Christmas book we read by Jan Brett with the caribou in it?
Yeah.
Maybe she went to Canada to find out about those things, right? Okay, so today we're going to read The Mitten. So when you look at the cover, what do you think is going to happen in this story, Heath? Any ideas what might happen?
No.
What do you see?
A mitten.
You see a mitten. What else do you see in the picture?
An owl.
An owl? What other animals?
A bear.
A bear.
A rabbit. And a mouse, I see there.
A mouse, yeah. What's this?
A fox. And
Charlotte, do you know what that is?
that's a badger.
A badger. What's this one?
A porcupine.
Close. It's a hedgehog.
Hedgehog.
And this is a mole.
A mole.
So it says adapted and illustrated by Jan Brett. Okay.
What's adapted mean?
And I thought today, because we're reading the story about a mitten, that you might hold this mitten while we read the story. Because there's a mitten in this story that's knitted. Just like this one. This one's called knitted. Put it in your hand and you can, maybe Charlotte can try it on too. And we'll think about that while we read the story. Okay? The Mitten, a Ukrainian folktale adapted and illustrated by Jan Brett.
What's adapted mean?
What's adapted mean? I think she took somebody else's story and redid it, but I'm not exactly sure. Okay, it says, once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. You see all the snow in the picture?
Yeah.
And remember when you read these books, if you look in this, it might give you some clues about what's going to happen. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you will never find it. But Nicky wanted snow-white mittens, and finally Baba made them. See how she's making them?
Yeah.
She's knitting them, just like this one.
Okay. So who knitted this one?
I don't know.
Okay.
We bought that one. After she finished, she said, when you come home first, I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow-white mittens. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. Can you see where he left his mitten?
Right there.
Right there. So what do you think is going to happen?
He's going to know that he lost his other mitten.
You think he's going to realize he lost it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you think anything's going to happen to the mitten
Yeah.
while it's in the snow?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to happen?
Some kind of animal's going to take it.
It's going to take it, maybe. Maybe this animal right here.
Yeah.
Look, there's the mole. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. Who's coming next?
A rabbit.
A rabbit.
Big one.
A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. What are his big kickers?
His feet.
His feet, yeah. Next, a hedgehog came along, snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. What are his glinty talons? Do you know?
His eyes.
Good guess. Charlotte, do you know what his glinty talons are?
The claws.
The claws on his feet.
Yeah.
So do you think they were scared?
Yeah.
So that's why what'd they do?
Move.
Moved over, right? Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. What are his diggers?
His arms.
His paws, right?
Paws.
And they gave him, what part of the mitten did they give him?
The thumb.
The thumb. Yeah, they gave him the thumb. Do you think he's going to fit in the thumb?
No.
I don't know. He's pretty big.
Yeah.
What's that mitten doing to get those guys in? Did you see?
Getting bigger.
Yeah, it's getting bigger. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotted by. Stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. What do you think they feel like when they saw the fox? How do they feel?
Like, yeah, because the fox might eat them.
Oh, he might eat them, yeah. So they might be scared, you think?
Yeah.
A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with the bear? The mittens swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Along came a meadow mouse no bigger than an acorn. He wiggled into one space left and made herself comfortable on the top of the great bear's nose. Can you see the little mouse? Where is he?
Right there.
Right there.
I can see his tail.
Would you go on there if you were a mouse?
No.
Why?
Because bears could eat them.
Do you think he might eat them?
Yeah.
I don't know. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Ah, 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 chew! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the air and scattered the animals in all directions. Look at them go. Whoa. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. As he ran to catch the snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. But look at the mittens in the last picture here. Is there something different about the mittens?
Yeah, because one is big.
And how come it's big?
Because all the people went in too.
All the animals went in there, and what'd they do to it?
They made it big.
They bigger. They stretched it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The picture is in the shape of a mitten.
It's in the shape. I always love her pictures. Don't you love her pictures?
Yeah.
They're so
She's a
neat.
good drawer.
And what's Baba mean? Do you know?
No.
Do you know what Baba means, Charlotte?
Grandma.
That's grandma in Ukrainian. This book is about a boy and his grandma, and they are Ukrainian. That's their nationality, right? So Mom gave you the mitten to try on. Did you put it on?
No.
Let's see. Put it on. Now, is it stretchy?
Yeah.
Is it stretchy?
Yeah.
Char, you try. Stretchy? But do you think this mitten could stretch so big to fit all those animals, really?
No.
Do you think so?
No.
I don't know if it could, but in the story it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that was kind of neat, hey?
Yeah, but bears are really big.
Yeah. And what happened when the bear sneezed?
It just shot off of them.
It just popped off and they all flew out,
Yeah,
right?
because it's like a balloon when it blows and then it shoots really low.
Right. When you blow the balloon up, it stretches and stretches and stretches. But then when it gets too big, or if you let it go out of your mouth, it goes pop, and all the air flies out, and just like the animals popped out, all the air comes out, right?
But when you don't know how to blow a balloon and you blow it and then it shoots out your mouth and it kind of just goes back into its other size again.
It shrinks down, just like the mitten did, but it didn't quite.
Yeah.
It didn't quite go right back, did it?
Yeah.
So what do you think the grandma's thinking in that picture?
It got big just by itself.
Is she wondering? Do you think she's wondering how? What happened to the mitten? How did it get so big?
I don't know.
Did the boy know how it got so big?
No.
Because he never saw any of that happen, did he?
Yeah.
He didn't see all those animals climb in. He only caught the mitten when it flew off of them after the bear sneezed, right?
Yeah.
Did you like that story?
Yeah. It was funny.
That's funny.
The mouse could just fit in here.
A mouse could fit in there pretty easily, couldn't
It
it?
wouldn't even need to stretch.
No, it wouldn't need to stretch for the mouse.
Yeah, it wouldn't even need to stretch for the mouse.
Do you think that all those animals could get along in there?
No.
I don't think they would they? Like in real life, I think that mouse he might have gotten eaten, right?
Yeah.
By the bear.
Bear.
Okay.
If I caught a mouse in here, I'd keep it.